Took one trade today, one winner. That was a nice 3.6 R trade, and Zella says it's a high conviction, high precision setup. So I actually didn't think I was gonna place a trade today, but I waited patiently enough for the level, and it worked out. So yesterday there was a big sell-off, and so the pivots were much wider, and it was an outside relationship. So I didn't really expect too much in terms of movement, but it was so volatile that there was good movement within the range. So again, CPR was very narrow yesterday, huge sell-off, and now the CPR is very wide, and it's an outside relationship. Same thing here, wider pivots, and it was a bearish relationship there. So coming in, pretty muted overnight, but this range is very big. Like, that's a 40-point range right there. So yes, it opened up inside value, inside range, and inside H3 and L3 area, but under CPR. So I was mostly focused on shorting value area high, which was also this fair value gap, and then longing value area low, which was also yesterday's low. And it did kind of support at the version POC over here 2 times, which is kind of in that area where it bounced after hours yesterday too. So long here, short here. I was also looking at H3 and central pivot to see if it can it'll hold there, but never hit. So yeah, I thought it was way too far away from value area low, so I thought it was gonna be a no trade day. But he sell off yesterday, creating new supply, expecting more of a muted day because it's opening inside value and range. So I want to play the extremes. So my thesis was decently correct here. It opened up here. There was also 7 a.m. news today, it's consumer sentiment, and it's pretty choppy, but the choppy range was very big. So this 95 to 70, it was like a 20-point range we're chopping inside of, and it was moving very fast because of the volatility. So I was just playing within this range. There's a few times over here that I wanted to long, but I kept myself back from that. And then the one thing I was looking at was the RSI here. So as it broke lows, the RSI was not breaking lows. So we can see that I was making a higher low, and then even on this one, it did not make lower lows. It was pretty much the same, while price was way down from this low. So that was one thing I had going for me. I nearly took a long position over here at yesterday's close. Technically, it wasn't at my level, but I was saying like close enough, and it was at the ledge of this high volume node, so maybe it was a good try, but it rejected real fast and came down. It hit my level, and I was looking for long confirmations, and especially because of the normal divergence here. I got a high volume 3-minute hammer here, also a high volume 1-minute hammer, and the other thing I got over here was this B shape with the selling and bounce at the lows and POC at the lows. And so here's the B shape right there with the POC at the lows. Now it's coming back down to test this B shape at around 41s, and it does test it, it holds, and then it rallies a little bit. So I'm very much hesitating here because it's been kind of chopping around the whole day, and but now this time it definitely was at my level at 65.50, and I had this RSI normal divergence. I had the high volume hammers on the 3-minute and the 1-minute, and there was also this little node that was forming here, which is also where this was, the POC here. It was holding that, and it was making a hammer on the 20 range chart too. And also there were, on that little rally up, there were buying imbalances over here and over here. So I did like that, I decided to get in when the risk was decent because my stop was going to be under the 40s here, or 30, 39. So yeah, I got in right there, even though if you look at the CVD here, I just wasn't a huge fan of that. Making new highs while price was not making new highs. And 1 minute delta divergence bearish and stuff, but I liked how it was holding that B-shape area. And I did like the high volume hammers. So this wasn't very good sign, but my expectation was that it would hold this level here at the retest of that B-shape initially, and then rally up. Especially because it was at the extreme of the range now of value, and it would go back towards accepted value somewhere over here. My target was the VPOC of the day at the time, which was 65.67. But yeah, it breaks down a bit, but gets supported. Forms a delta divergence bullish, which was a very good sign for me. And then it rallied from there. So initially I had my target at 3R, which was 60, 65, 63-ish. And I got very nervous when it got there, because it hit it, and I still haven't taken my profit, and it was pulling back. So I was like, maybe I should have just taken it at 63. But I thought it was a decent target because it was the VPOC of the day, but also I thought it would hit VWAP at least at 65.70. So thought it was a good midpoint target there. And it came down, supported, formed a delta divergence bullish, and went up to hit my target at 67. So that was a very good trade. I was very, very, very patient. I waited a full hour for that one. And I got enticed so many times in between here to go long, even though it wasn't at my level. But I ended up waiting for my level, and it worked out really well. So it rejected a VWAP after that, came down, would have stopped me out at break even, but then I guess it's rallying now back up to the highs. But yeah, I'm very happy that I stayed patient and executed when I saw confirmations at my level.